What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about episode 5 of season 7 of The Walking Dead. Episode 5 was titled Go Getters, and this episode, at least in my opinion, was definitely probably the most exciting since the premiere, but definitely not the best episode that we've ever seen. Certainly not the worst we've ever seen either, though. You know, they really focus on Maggie and the hilltop on this in this episode, so you know, we get to get a little bit more screen time with Gregory and Jesus, and then obviously Maggie and Sasha, and how they're getting by, you know, after the big ordeal that happened with Negan in the premiere. So you know, we're really getting so we really got to see, you know, how Maggie's holding up and stuff. She's actually holding up a little bit better than I thought she was, but there were some really nice scenes in this, especially the part when she refers to herself as Maggie Ree as opposed to Maggie Green. So I thought that was awesome how she took the last name of Glenn. Really liked that, actually. I thought that was really cool, and that was, in my opinion, the next level for Maggie. That's the next step. That's her moving forward, becoming stronger, more independent. There was a little bit of action in this episode with some walkers coming in, and of course the Savior sent in a car that on the back of it had like the middle finger sticking up. So their plan, as we know, because the Saviors come to Hilltop basically just to remind Gregory, you know, who's in charge and who the boss is. Basically, you know, and they actually make Gregory kneel and everything. You know, they tell him to kneel, just, you know, to remind him, you know, that the Saviors are in charge, and in this episode you really see how much of a coward Gregory is. Now the actor portraying Gregory is doing a phenomenal job. You might not love the character, you might not like the character because of the character himself, but you should love you know, how well the actor in real life is portraying him on the small screen. So Gregory he's really cool. Well, not cool, but you know what I mean. He's like, he's really afraid. He's almost like a suck up to the Saviors, and he was actually going to turn Maggie and Sasha in. At least I do believe he was, because obviously they wanted, Gregory and them wanted to hide Maggie and Sasha from the Saviors, because, you know, while they're helping Maggie and them, and obviously Maggie and them and Maggie and Rick's group were the ones that killed a lot of Saviors. So you know, Gregory wanted to hide them in the closet. But luckily, Jesus hides them somewhere else. I think he does that because he knows that maybe Gregory can't be trusted. I think he feels like maybe if Gregory knows where they truly are, then, you know, he would turn them in and tell the Saviors that Maggie and Sasha is there. But so Jesus hides them somewhere else, and then of course Gregory do actually send the Saviors to the closet. But when they open it up, it's only gin and a bunch of liquor and stuff. So Saviors take all that. And Simon had a really cool line there where he tells Gregory to put the bottle back into the box. At first it's almost like a question, but then he corrects himself. You know, he's like, hey, do you mind slipping that bottle back in the box? And then he's like, oh wait, do you mind slipping that bottle back in the box, period, or whatever it was he said. So, you know, that was really cool. He's really laying down the law. I also really liked it when Simon looked at Gregory at one point and said, right now I am your Negan. And so I thought that was done really well. And in a lot of ways, Simon is a lot like Negan. He even got like that, you know, kind of evil smirk or smile or whatever you want to know, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, you know, that's what Negan's known for. But he can also be funny, but also very intimidating, which is obviously like Negan. So, and then of course he makes Gregory kneel and all that stuff. So, you know, he is very intimidating. But Sasha and Maggie, they have some great scenes together. They're really growing close, so I think that's really cool. Rather than have, say, Maggie, you know, lean on the shoulders of like Aaron or another male presence or something like that, you know, that she's really growing close to Sasha. And you could really see in this episode that they're really hinting at Maggie eventually taking over and becoming the leader of Hilltop. And you already see traces of that already, which is one of the flaws that I have with this episode. I feel like overall the season, I feel like, is really dragging on because they're doing these episodes where they're focusing on one group per episode. So realistically, the whole season is, or at least the whole first part of season 7, seems like it's taking part over the course of 1 week. But, you know, or actually it seems like it's every episode pretty much seems like it's actually a week later. after the premiere, which was To Kill, and then each episode is just basically like rewinding. It's showing us what happened right after To Kill and then up to a week later. So we're not really progressing per se with the series. We're just simply seeing everybody, all these different groups and everything that's going on in this exact same week. So we're not really progressing in time or in story for that matter. Really, we're just seeing you know, all the different communities and what they're doing during this 7-day period, right? But I really love the bond Sasha and Maggie's growing. Then of course, Edith, or Enid, I keep calling her Edith, but her name is Enid. Enid ends up running away from Alexandria. Obviously, Carol goes after her. I mean, we knew that was going to happen. We've seen that in the promo trailers and in the season 7 trailers. Then, of course, a little bit corny. They find the rollerblades, you know, and they start rollerblading and holding hands, almost like, you know, like a movie, you know, back from the 70s, like a love movie. But you know, it was nice at the same time to see that in this post-apocalyptic world, you never see people rollerblade up the road or have that, like, you know, that type of love where they're holding hands. So, you know, I was okay with that. I didn't, you know, that didn't bother me that much. Rick, of course, was on there. Rick got probably like 30-second screen time. I think they put him in there just for the sake of having him. Him and Michonne kind of kiss and make out a little bit there, which is, you know, just, you know, reminding us that they're still strong, they're still in love no matter what, even after the events of the opening. So, you know, they're still doing well. And then, of course, well, the Hilltop gets attacked by the zombies, which we already kind of touched on, but that's when you really see Maggie shine and really become like a leader for Hilltop. She was like shouting out orders to these strangers that she don't even know. She's like, hey, you do this, Jesus, you do this, you know, and you do this and that, and then she hops in a tractor, killing all the zombies and running over that car. So, you know, that's a really big foreshadow. And then, of course, well, we see Abe and Glenn's grave. I was actually a little bit disappointed that we didn't see the funeral, but it seems to me like during the funeral, it seems to me like Maggie was actually getting treatments by the doctor of Hilltop. And it seems like when she wakes up, then it's almost like she asks Sasha. She's like, "Hey, where are the bodies? Where are they?" You know, actually, I think that's what she says. She's like, "Where are they?" And Sasha's like, "Hey," and it brings it to the graves where she buried them. Gregory is such a dick. You know, he's you know, getting mad at them for burying the bodies there. And then Maggie lays down the pocket watch on the grave, you know, for Glenn, because Herschel gave Glenn the watch, and then now she, you know, she got the watch back and whatnot. And then Gregory steals it, so that was a really cool scene as well, when Maggie punches Gregory in the lips, which he deserved, and she takes back her watch. But then I think you know, not the very last scene, but, you know, towards the end, it was really cool when Sasha and Maggie and Enid is sitting down at the table, and Maggie gives Enid the pocket watch, you know, as basically like a symbolism or a metaphor to say, you know, it's time to move on. Let's not worry and dwell on the past. Let's just focus on the future. Let's focus on us being here and now. We will get stronger through all this. Let's focus on Negan, because you can tell she really wants to take out Negan, and obviously, like you would. And then, of course, Sasha and Jesus kind of start planning these little missions, I guess we'll say, you know, behind Maggie's back, but not because they're trying to betray her or because they don't want her to be involved per se. It's just, I think they're doing it just because they know what Maggie's like, and Maggie will want to be a part of it. And as you know, right now Maggie just needs to get better. She needs to be stress-free, and the baby, you know, they don't want the baby to get sick. So for now, they're just keeping Maggie on the sidelines and maybe, you know, in the dark a little bit. But then we get to the final scenes, which was really cool. You see Sasha sharpening her knife, and the whole time she's sharpening the knife, they just have that sound effect going where she's sharpening her knife. And then you see the Saviors leaving Hilltop with everything that they took or whatnot, the 50% that they take. And then Jesus, you know, sneaks into the back of one of the trucks. I guess he's going to scope out the Savior's headquarters and, you know, just get an idea of how many there are, maybe see if he can find some weaknesses in their security so they can infiltrate it eventually. And then, of course, he jumps in, and then Carl's there, and they just look at each other, and Carl's like, hey, what do you at, or whatever he said, or hey, what's up? And then Jesus just looks at him and starts drinking the bottle and kind of gives him a cool smirk. So, you know, it's going to be really good to see those two characters interact with each other and watch them bounce off each other. You know, I'm a little bit nervous about Chandler Briggs. I'm still not fully sold on the fact that he could even really bring Carl's story I don't have a whole lot of faith that he can truly bring it, for Carl's story, because Carl really steps up during All Out War and stuff, during Negan's story, so I'm not fully convinced that Chandler Riggs can do it. I'm going to believe that he can, and I'm going to have faith that he can, but right now I'm just not quite buying it. And same, I think the guy playing Jesus, I can't remember his real name now, I'm having a brain fart, but Jesus, I think he's going to be a really cool character eventually, but he's not quite the comic Jesus that we're used to, but I think it's just because he's going to be around for a long time, and I think that they just want to take their time with him and do it right, because I do believe that actor is going to do a phenomenal job portraying Jesus, because I love him already, but we've already seen glimpses of who Jesus really is in this episode, but he's still not the comic Jesus yet. But anyways, ton of stuff happened. I'm going to stop rambling on now. The video is already over 10 minutes. Let me know in that comment section below if you like this episode. Tell me why or why not. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you want to join our growing community, supporting me and this channel for absolutely free, but more importantly, becoming a part of our family, click that subscribe button. And if you want to check out a bunch of other awesome content on this channel, simply click on one of the videos you see on your screen right now.